opening with a gut punch. Ji-young has spent 10 years faking it as a nice guy for love. On the outside, he's helping the elderly with a smile. Inside, he's screaming in rage. Give it back! Before he even gets to school, the red-haired punk targets him, snapping photos and mocking him for having no mother. Ji-young clenches his fist but stays silent, pretending not to hear. In the alley, Ji-young is beaten to his knees. The thug dangles a photo of his mother, sneering. Want it back? Pay up, or we tear it to pieces. No! Please don't! Ji-young screams in terror. But the gang shows no mercy, threatening to rip the photo. It's mine now. If you don't buy it, watch me tear it apart. Ji-young takes a deep breath, fixes his uniform, and forces a smile. He pulls out a thick stack of cash, buying back his dignity with cold, hard money. The thug takes the cash, claiming it's a fair trade. Ji-young retrieves the photo as laughter echoes behind him. What a donation angel, huh? Ha ha! Turning to a classmate, Ji-young instantly switches on his goofy grin. Hearing her call him an angel, he acts surprised and flattered. Really? Do I actually look that kind? The girl asks why he tries so hard to be nice. Ji-young pauses, his eyes turning deep and slightly sly. Because I have a reason for all of this. Arriving at the classroom, he transforms back into the sunny boy. He slides the door open with a cheerful, "Good morning, everyone," as if the humiliation never happened. The whole class greets him warmly, but only one person matters. Han Soo-jin is smiling at him. She calls out for cleaning duty, and Ji-young's heart melts instantly. Watching Soo-jin approach, Ji-young grins like a fool, scratching his head and nodding eagerly. Sure, let's do it together. This is exactly why he endures it all. While taking out the trash, Soo-jin praises him for helping a classmate. Ji-young acts shy on the outside, but inside he's celebrating. Yes, the nice guy act is paying off. Meanwhile in the alley, the bully trio is gaming. Suddenly, the leader, Shin Jae-cheol, narrows his eyes, locking onto Soo-jin with a dangerous glare. Han Soo-jin! A shout breaks the peace. Ji-young whips around and sees that bastard Shin Jae-cheol. His heart sinks. How does this guy know Soo-jin? Shin Jae-cheol arrogantly tells Ji-young to get lost and singles out Soo-jin. Seeing her stiff expression, a terrifying thought strikes Ji-young. Is she being bullied too? Soo-jin urges him to leave, and Ji-young grits his teeth and agrees. But as he walks away, his fists crack with tension, swearing internally, if they touch her, I'll kill them. Ji-young is debating whether to call for backup. Meanwhile, Soo-jin's expression shifts completely. She hisses at the thug. I told you not to make it so obvious at school. Shin Jae-cheol smirks like a thug. What, ashamed of me? Is your image more important? Soo-jin rushes to explain, but the vibe clearly isn't bullying, it's a lover's quarrel. The next second, the thug wraps his arm around her, teasing her about a kiss. Soo-jin pushes him away, but her shy reaction says it all. She's not a victim, she's flirting. Soo-jin finally waves a reluctant goodbye to the thug. Back in the classroom, Ji-young slumps in his chair, looking like his soul has left his body, a dark cloud hanging over him. Ji-young slumps in his seat, completely checked out. A classmate asks if he's okay, but he's deaf to the world, his mind consumed by one name, Soo-jin. A text from Soo-jin says, I miss you, sparking hope, but the follow-up, I need to tell you something, sends him into a cold sweat. Panic sets in. Please, don't let it be true. After school, a friend suggests the PC bang, but Ji-young brushes him off with a dead stare. Soo-jin catches up, trying to act normal, but his mood is darker than a storm cloud. He can't hold it in anymore. Ji-young freezes, back turned, his voice trembling as he drops the bomb. Soo-jin, are you dating Shin Jae-cheol? Worst fear confirmed. Soo-jin scratches her head, smiling sheepishly. I meant to tell you, we're together now. Ji-young freezes, his eyes bulging in sheer shock. What? How could she pick that trash? Rage explodes in Ji-young's chest, dragging his memory back to a night he found Soo-jin curling up on the street, terrified and fragile. Back then, Soo-jin cried her heart out, swearing she'd never marry a violent man like her father. She looked him in the eye and promised, I'm going to marry someone kind and gentle. She even added, someone kind, just like you, Ji-young. That sentence made the young boy blush to his ears, convinced it was a confession of love. Back in the present, Ji-young snaps. But Jiang Cheol is a bully. He's not kind. Su-jin awkwardly looks away. Well, I tried dating a nice guy, but honestly, it was kinda boring. Bad boys are just cooler. The words hit Ji-young like a truck. He spent 10 years pretending to be an angel for her, and now she says she wants a devil? Desperate, Ji-young grabs her hand, stammering as he tries to pivot. Actually, I'm bad. I'm way worse than that punk. Su-jin looks at him, totally confused. What are you talking about? You're so gentle. Ji-young is on the verge of tears, screaming internally, I'm a literal gangster. He completely loses it, screaming at the top of his lungs. I have gangster blood. My glasses are fake. My first birthday party was full of thugs. I am pure evil. But Su-jin just laughs, holding his hand tighter. You're just acting tough because you're worried about me, right? Ji-young, you really are too sweet. You really are a great friend. The friend-zone sentence lands like a heavy blow. Ji-young looks at her innocent smile, swallows his truth, and accepts his defeat. Right then, a sickening voice cuts through the air. Shin Jiang Cheol is waving at the gate, his arrogant smirk clashing violently with Su-jin's innocence. Jiang Cheol swaggers over with a punchable face, sneering aggressively. What are you staring at, retard? You got a thing for Su-jin or something? Collared by the thug, Ji-young has to swallow his pride to keep his cover. He puts on a terrified face and lies. No. We're just childhood friends. Su-jin apologizes and leaves with her boyfriend, leaving Ji-young standing alone. He touches his bruised face, the price of pretending to be a nice guy, feeling bitter and broken. Watching Jiang Cheol aggressively wrap his arm around Su-jin, Ji-young's eyes turn ice cold. That spot, that embrace, it was supposed to be his. He watches his crush walk away, bitterness rising in his throat. He faked being an angel for 10 years just for her, and she chooses a bad boy. The irony cuts deep. Tears well up, but he wipes them away aggressively. He fixes his tie, eyes hardening. If being nice doesn't work, fine. No more Mr. Nice Guy. He walks not to class, but to his family turf. The gates open, and dozens of men in black drop to their knees. Welcome back, young master. The student disguise is officially gone. Striding down the crimson hall, his eyes glow red with rage. He embraces his bloodline. He's the heir to a gangster family, and he's about to show them what a real villain looks like. Cut to the park. Yi-ji, the tough blonde, catches her breath on a bench, worried about a scar on her face. Suddenly, a dark shadow looms over her. It's Ji-young. He's back, awkwardly handing her a small blue package without saying a word. The fierce gangster vibe shifts into awkward kindness. She takes it with a smirk. Is this hush money for hitting me? He panics and apologizes immediately. She laughs it off and introduces herself. I'm Yi-ji. And you? When he says his name, Yi-ji freezes. Huh? You're that super annoying Kong Ji-young? Clearly, his reputation as a goody two-shoes precedes him. Ji-young is crushed. I was being nice. She shoots him down instantly. Being the nice is just irritating. His carefully crafted nice guy image was actually a joke to everyone. As he gently puts a band-aid on her forehead, he screams, I'm not nice. I'm a bad guy. Yi-ji stares at him in total disbelief at this contradiction. They argue about what makes a bad guy. Ji-young asks if she likes the bully. She rolls her eyes. He's trash. But I do have a thing for the bad boy vibe. She thinks back to when the bully looked cool on his bike. Now, realizing he's just scum, she regrets ever finding that trashy behavior attractive. Suddenly, her phone buzzes. Caller ID, Shin Jiang Cheol, the bully. Her face goes pale. She looks at Ji-young with panic. Don't say a word. The bully screams through the phone like a maniac. Yi-ji doesn't back down. Terrified but fierce, she screams right back, You dare yell at me? Want to go to jail. She stands in the street, raging into her phone. She might be scared, but when pushed, she fights back with everything she's got. Cut to the bully. He's bleeding from the head. Someone threw a rock at him. Seething with rage, he vows to find the bastard who did it and kill him. It seems Ji-young might have thrown that rock earlier. They discuss their next move. Yi-ji warns him. If they leave it be, the bully will take his anger out on Su-jin. Yi-ji suddenly leans in close, teasing him. Hey, we just met. You're helping me this much. Are you crushing on me or something? Ji-young denies it instantly. Yi-ji gets serious, reporting the bully won't work since she hit him first. It would just ruin her reputation even more. Finally, she looks him in the eye. Kong Ji-young, keep today a secret. They just met, but this secret has turned them into accomplices. In the cafeteria, his buddy stares at Ji-young's awkward gangster getup, totally confused. What is wrong with you? His friends roast him mercilessly while eating, turning into a thug overnight? You look just like that jerk Shin Jae-cheol. Triggered, Ji-young slams the table and screams, I was trying to be like him. The outburst shocks his friends into silence. Terrified and confused, his friends question him. Why be a scumbag like him? If you want to be tough, why not be like Jung-suk? His mind is a mess, romantic fantasies shattering against Yeji's tearful question. Why is a good guy like you trying to break bad? Speak of the devil. Yeji suddenly appears with her tray, timidly asking if she can sit with him, making things instantly awkward. His friends surrender in fear of the bad girl, then switch to fake smiles. Ji-young sits between them, sweating and totally uncomfortable. Ji-young panics, pushes his uneaten food away, and tries to bail, but Yeji catches him immediately. I'm coming too. The crowd prepares to laugh, but jealousy hits when they see the girl chasing him as they leave the cafeteria together. Hiding in the bathroom, Ji-young frantically stuffs his gold chain into his jacket, terrified of getting caught skipping class by a teacher. Terrified of his first time skipping, he goes to hide his rings, only to realize with horror one is missing. He turns his pockets inside out, nothing. Cold sweat pours down as the terrifying image of his bald uncle flashes in his mind. When his bald uncle passed down this heirloom ring, he was in tears, solemnly handing over this honor. Give it back when I die, I'm taking it to my grave. Remembering this threat, Ji-young clutches his head and screams in silent terror. This is a disaster. He rushes back to the classroom, crawling on the floor like a madman. Where is it? The drawer? The floor? Talk about bad luck. While searching, he takes a heavy punch to the head as the school bully glares at him furiously. The guy in the suit snaps completely, treating the kneeling student like a punching bag, screaming in rage while a girl watches in paralyzed horror. He barely wakes up from passing out before mocking his victim again, poking his cheek with a twisted grin and threatening another beating. Lee Yeji steps up to stop the madness, asking why he's taking his anger out on others, only for his lackey to immediately sneer and insult her. The bully lunges, grabbing her collar from behind and whispering a chilling threat that instantly drains the color from her face. Refusing to believe her plea of ignorance, he screams in her face and raises a heavy hand, ready to strike her down. With his foot crushing the victim's head, he turns on the girl. The guy on the ground, clutching a pill, desperately warns her to brace for impact. But amidst the chaos, there is one name that strikes fear into this monster's heart. The only person who can stop him is Song Jung-suk. The moment that name drops, the bully freezes, cold sweat instantly breaking his arrogant facade as pure panic sets in. Back in the present, a standoff of shoes on the classroom floor signals a tense silence before the storm breaks. Fed up with playing the angel, Ji-young decides to embrace the villain role, marching straight up to the sleeping beast, Song Jung-suk. He screams at him to wake up and delivers a thunderous kick to the desk, sending a shockwave through the silent classroom. The class watches in terror as the sleeping giant finally stirs, shooting up from his desk with a sudden, violent force. Instead of swinging, Jung-suk asks in shock if Ji-young helped Lee Yeji, leaving Ji-young visibly sweating and panic-stricken. Jung-suk stands there in total disbelief, struggling to process that his cowardly friend might have actually fought back. Jung-suk demands an answer, while Yeji watches in horror, realizing the situation has spiraled completely out of control. Instead of answering, Ji-young deflects with a mocking smirk, provoking Jung-suk into snapping and grabbing him by the collar. Rage explodes as Jung-suk tightens his grip, screaming, "Do I look like a piece of trash to you?" feeling utterly betrayed. Even while being choked, Ji-young pushes back, challenging him with a twisted logic. What if it's a lie? And what if it isn't? They grapple violently in the classroom, neither backing down, turning a heated conversation into a physical declaration of war. 10 years of suppressed rage finally explodes. Ji-young screams at the crowd, letting out every ounce of his pent-up frustration. After the outburst comes total exhaustion. He claws at his hair, trembling, his mind a chaotic mess of adrenaline. Suddenly, his heart stops. His finger is bare. The emerald ring, the symbol of his family's power, is gone? Cold sweat pours down. He realizes the truth. That scumbag Shin Jae-cheol. He must have swiped it during the fight. The girls nearby finally react to the scene, staring at the injured young master in horror and rushing to help him. The mood in the school shifts. Li Ji, who used to despise him, now watches with conflicted eyes, actually defending him. Ji-ung pushes away the concern. He needs to be alone. Shoulders slumped, he walks out, leaving his friends behind. The walk home feels like a death march. The ring is gone. How on earth is he going to explain this to his terrifying uncles? Standing before the massive gates of his family estate, his legs turn to jelly. It feels less like home and more like the gates of hell. He forces himself inside. A wall of suited mobsters greets him, but their smiles vanish the second they see his bruised face. Chaos erupts. The mobsters go ballistic. Someone touched their young master? This isn't a fight. It's a declaration of war. Ji-ung frantically tries to calm them down. But Uncle Gai-sang is already past reason, eyes burning with murderous intent. Gai-sang loses it, grabbing a spiked knuckle duster. The whole gang is bloodthirsty, ready to hunt down the culprit like a pack of wolves. Just as hell is about to break loose, a thunderous roar freezes the room. It's J.O.K., the most terrifying uncle, commanding absolute silence. Ji-ung sighs in relief, thinking rationality has arrived. But J.O.K. descends with a cold aura far scarier than the riot. Even the berserk Gai-sang is terrified, dropping his weapon in silence. No one dares to breathe in front of the true boss. Everyone drops to their knees. But J.O.K. isn't letting it slide. With a grim face, he orders everyone to the meeting room. Now! The absurdity hits its peak. The entire mob leadership gathers for a high-stakes strategic meeting over a high school scuffle. The uncles seriously analyze the enemy threat. Sitting at the head of the table, Ji-ung dies inside, the embarrassment unbearable. The underlings are in shock that the young master threw the first punch. Ji-ung, sweating bullets, stammers that he actually missed. Ji-ung confesses to using a rock, expecting shame. Instead, the mobsters cheer, praising his use of weapons as a basic survival skill. He remembers being told that real delinquents only use fists. Clearly, his mob family operates on a completely different set of rules. The black-haired uncle declares that while Ji-ung is weak now, he has the flame-bear bloodline. Rigorous training will fix everything. The underlings chant their loyalty, but the uncle cuts them off with a raised finger. There's something more critical than training. You need the habit of winning, the uncle roars. Ji-ung tries to argue he's not ready, but the uncle looms over him. Waiting is not an option. A sinister grin spreads across the uncle's face against a blood-red background. He has a plan, and it's definitely not clean. The grand plan? Go beat up someone weaker. Ji-ung is horrified, while the sycophantic underlings praise the uncles. Genius. Ji-ung hesitates to bully the weak, but the bald uncle counters with twisted logic. Once you're strong, everyone is. Weak, does that mean you stop fighting? The pressure mounts. The mobsters surround him, insisting he must get used to crushing those beneath him. For grown men beg for his trust in unison. Ji-ung sweats profusely, seriously questioning their moral compass. The next morning, Ji-ung tries to slip away to school, but the bald uncle halts him with a thunderous shout. The uncle stares silently. Ji-ung panics, terrified that he's been caught losing the precious family ring. Turns out, the uncle just hated his tucked-in shirt. Ji-ung quickly untucks it, forcing a smile to hide his massive relief. The uncle nods approval. Ji-ung sprints out the door like a fugitive, while the mobsters bow politely behind him. Safe outside, Ji-ung gasps for air. The relief is short-lived. He has to recover the ring from the bully Shinjiang-cheol, or he's dead meat. Walking down the street, he suddenly freezes. Something ahead catches his attention. An old lady is struggling with heavy scrap wood. Ji-ung fights his instincts, chanting a mantra. Real villains don't help people for free. The grandma recognizes him and smiles warmly. Guilt pierces through him. Ji-ung covers his face and sprints away, tears streaming down his face. Ji-ung sprints down the street, tears streaming as the memory of failing his grandmother consumes him. He questions his path to villainy, freezing in his tracks when he hears a weary groan nearby. His eyes widen in horror. It's an elderly man struggling with a heavy load. His instincts scream to help. He trembles violently, fighting every instinct to help, looking so pained that the grandpa gets worried. He cracks, screaming an apology as he flees, haunted by warm memories of being a good grandson. Panic sets in as he checks his watch. He's going to be late for the first time in his life. He spots figures ahead, praying they aren't elderly, and collapses with relief. They're just students. Relieved, he smiles politely, watching the other students walk away casually. He steps onto the crosswalk, but a truck barrels toward him, making him scream in pure terror. Shaking, he realizes the truth. He mindlessly followed the others and jaywalked on a red light. Remembering how cool bad guys break rules, he clenches his fist as the light turns green, hatching a plan. A classmate urges him to cross, but Ji-young solemnly refuses, claiming he has important business to attend to. The classmate shrugs and jogs off, leaving Ji-young alone at the curb to prepare for his act. Eyes glued to the countdown, he sweats profusely, clenching his fist as the seconds tick away. The light turns red. He stands at the edge, breathing heavily, ready to commit his intentional crime. The roar of engines fills the air, heightening the tension as he stares down at the asphalt. He steps out, tires screech, and a furious driver screams, "Do you want to die?" Collapsing in terror, he screams, "I committed a crime!" Utterly baffled by the thrill of villainy. Exhausted and strained, he tries one last bad act, awkwardly tilting his head to spit like a thug. Ji-young is trying way too hard, sweat dripping down his face. His mouth hangs open, drool spilling out uncontrollably. It's a painful sight. Looking around nervously, he tries to hawk a loogie like a thug, but just makes a mess. It's harder than it looks, yet he's determined to become bad. Just as he adjusts his collar, she walks by. Ji-young calls out Soo-jin in surprise, and she turns back with a warm, gentle smile. He loses himself in a sweet daydream, only to be snapped back by reality. Seeing happy couples while he hides in the shadows, Ji-young feels utterly pathetic. Hiding in the stairwell, Ji-young squeezes his eyes shut in agony. Sweating and trembling, the self-loathing hits him hard. Remembering Soo-jin's cheerful wish for him to be happy, Ji-young's doubt vanishes. His eyes clear up, filled with renewed determination. Slumped in the dark alley, he suddenly snaps out of it. Straightening his back, Ji-young strides forward, ready to face whatever comes next. As he steps out, a group of students spots him. Confusion turns to shock as they recognize Kong Ji-young, reacting as if they've seen a ghost. Two delinquents block his path. The girl sneers, calling him a loser, while the guy with the toothpick threatens him, showing zero respect. Someone desperately cries out Ji-young's name for help. Nearby, the bully girl applies lipstick, preparing to humiliate the victim who stands isolated and terrified. The tables turn instantly. Ji-young radiates such terrifying menace that the bullies, who were just mocking him, freeze, trembling in fear. The rescued student smiles and says thanks, but Ji-young suddenly turns cold. He corners the guy, sweating nervously as he demands, "How much cash do you have?" Onlookers watch in shock as Ji-young commits to the act. Sweating profusely, he threatens violently, "Hand it all over, or you're dead meat." The bald uncle, who is following out of worry, witnesses the mugging. Instead of being horrified, he's moved to tears by his young master's growth. Hearing Ji-young's vicious threat, "I'll kill you if you're hiding cash," the uncle sobs with joy, feeling foolish for ever doubting him. Recognizing his own catchphrase, the uncle is ecstatic. He mentally reports to the boss, "The young master is doing great, he's a natural." While the victim stands confused, the delinquent girl is impressed. She thought Ji-young was an idiot, but this ruthlessness? That looks like a real man to her. Hearing the praise, Ji-young is stunned but keeps his cool. Girls actually like this? Bad guys are cool? Internally, he's grinning from ear to ear. Committing to the bit, Ji-young keeps up the pressure. Terrified, the victim caves and hands over a wad of cash with a trembling hand. Fresh off the ice, Ji-young clutches the cash, trembling. His angel persona crumbles as guilt washes over him. He might have had a plan, but right now, he feels like a total criminal. When his friend jokes that he's acting like a pro-extortionist, Ji-young's eyes nearly pop out of his head. But the shock vanishes instantly, as he cheerfully suggests splitting the loot 4 ways. Looking at the cash, Ji-young grins like a fool, and Yi-ji beams right beside him. The guilt evaporates instantly. This doesn't feel like extortion anymore, just a happy payday with friends. He deals the cash out like playing cards, handing Yi-ji her cut. The group buzzes with excitement, planning to blow their ill-gotten gains at the arcade like a little organized crime syndicate. In a back alley, Yi-ji suddenly confronts a man in a suit, demanding to know what's up. Before he can react, she sighs and walks away, leaving the confused man frozen in place. While Ji-young stands confused, the bald uncle watches from the shadows, completely misinterpreting the situation. He's actually moved to tears, impressed by how his young master stole smoothly and shared the loot fairly. The tough guy breaks down sobbing, seeing his younger self in Ji-young. Convinced that passing down the family ring was the right choice, he stands there wiping tears, looking ready to die happy. Suddenly, Ji-young, smoking and acting tough, bumps into his uncle without realizing it. The uncle, not recognizing him, snaps. Seeing a punk in his master's uniform acting cocky, he explodes with murderous rage. Just as he's about to strike, the uncle spots the ring and freezes. It's the unique family heirloom. His brain short-circuits as he tries to figure out if his young master lent it to this punk. Confusion turns to total panic. The uncle looks down, paralyzed by indecision. Oblivious to the danger, Ji-young keeps poking the bear, insulting the older man's silence. The uncle trembles, thinking, "If this is the young master's friend, I'm dead if I touch him." Ji-young laughs in his face, mocking him for looking like a gangster before strolling away with a final insult. "Bald retard." The uncle shakes with suppressed rage, praying this punk isn't actually close to his boss. His patience snaps completely. The scream explodes in his mind, raw and violent. "If he's not a friend, I'm going to beat him to a pulp." Back at school, Ji-young tries to play the polite student, but the professor coldly orders him to the faculty office. His stomach drops. The tough guy act vanishes, replaced by the dread of a student about to get busted. The atmosphere in the office is suffocating. The professor pushes his glasses up and demands to know why Ji-young has been acting out. Ji-young stands there, meek as a lamb, his mobster swagger completely gone. The professor's voice rises, scolding the future student council president for going down the wrong path. Bombarded by disappointment and accusations, Ji-young hangs his head in silence, unable to say a word in his defense. Then comes the ultimate threat. The professor calmly drops the bomb. "Bring your father to school." Ji-young looks terrified. Bringing his mob boss dad here? That's basically a death sentence for his normal life. The office buzzes with shock, the model student getting called out. Desperate to save his skin, Ji-young sweats bullets and improvises a lie. "My dad's traveling. Can I bring my uncle instead?" The professor actually agrees. Ji-young clutches his chest, exhaling a massive sigh of relief. He feels like he just dodged a bullet. As long as his terrifying dad doesn't show up, he might just survive this. Walking out, the mere thought of his dad sends a shiver down his spine. But the moment he bumps into a classmate, he instantly puts his mask back on, acting cool as if he wasn't terrified just seconds ago. 1 minute he's joking around, the next he drops the bomb that the teacher summoned his parents, leaving his friend completely baffled by his calmness. Turns out he can bring his uncle instead of his terrifying dad. Ji-young wipes the cold sweat off his forehead, relieved to have dodged a bullet. With no other choice, Ji-young bites the bullet and calls home, stuttering as he breaks the news that one of the uncles needs to come to school. Instead of being mad, the mobster uncles go absolutely wild. They're fighting over who gets to go, treating a parent-teacher conference like a winning lottery ticket. The competition for the guardian spot turns intense instantly. These hardened criminals are ready to throw hands just to visit their nephew's school. Ji-young is completely dumbfounded on the other end, unable to comprehend why his uncles are treating a school visit like a life-or-death mission. To avoid a bloodbath, they decide to settle it the fair way: rock, paper, scissors. The bald uncle even tries to psych them out by announcing his move. The results are in. The bald uncle actually pulls off the win and roars in victory, while the losers hang their heads in utter defeat. Defeated, the suit-wearing uncle picks up the phone and apologizes to Ji-young, breaking the unfortunate news that he lost the match and can't come. Then comes the bad news. The winner is the bald uncle, Guy Sang. Hearing that name, Ji-young's heart instantly sinks. The next morning, the bald uncle shows up right on time. Seeing that beaming grin, Ji-young looks like his soul has left his body. Seeing his uncle's tight Medusa shirt and gold chains, Ji-young nearly collapses. This isn't a parent-teacher meeting outfit, it's a collecting protection money fit. As they walk down the street, the uncle yells excitedly while Ji-young shrinks away, wishing the ground would swallow him up to escape the stairs. Just to make things worse, a random thug jumps out and bows 90 degrees to the uncle. Now everyone definitely knows they're gangsters. While Ji-young is freaking out about the mob connection, the uncle casually jokes about the thug, completely oblivious to his nephew dying of embarrassment. Suddenly, the uncle decides it's time for a lesson on being a man, forcing Ji-young to mimic his fierce expression by pushing a toothpick with his tongue. Ji-young fails miserably, drooling all over himself, but his uncle shows no mercy, ordering him to keep practicing all the way to the school gate. Seeing his nephew struggle, the uncle puffs up his chest with confidence, declaring that when it comes to being a bad guy, he's the ultimate expert. The training isn't over. Bald Uncle forces the young master to stretch his face, making him open his mouth wide to shout commands. Next is the walking stance. Bald Uncle shouts on the street, ordering the young master to puff out his chest and tighten his back muscles. The young master forces himself to mimic the walk, moving like a rusty robot, but Bald Uncle thinks this is exactly how a real man walks. Legs spread wide, hands in pockets, the young master strikes the most embarrassing, alpha, pose of his life. Bald Uncle is satisfied and insists they walk all the way to school like this. The young master is absolutely mortified. Students on the street are terrified, thinking the mafia has arrived, while the young master just wants to disappear. Finally arriving at the gate, Bald Uncle stares at the school, his gaze suddenly turning sharp. He abruptly asks about the soul ring. The young master breaks into a cold sweat, lying that it's safely locked in his room. Inside, the young master rushes to class, but Bald Uncle heads straight for the office, radiating a terrifying aura. Watching from the hallway, a friend gets a sinking feeling that something big is about to go down today. The office is in chaos, teachers are terrified, but the disciplinary coordinator tries to act tough. Even as cold sweat pours down, the coordinator brainwashes himself, insisting this is nothing he can't handle. Just as everyone praises the coordinator, Bald Uncle appears behind him like a ghost, introducing himself as the guardian. The coordinator instantly crumbles, trembling as he leads this giant into the counseling room, while the whole office falls silent. Once the door shuts, colleagues outside comfort themselves, thinking the coordinator's experience will handle it. Inside, the coordinator politely pours tea, trying to start the conversation by mentioning Ji-Ung's recent bad behavior. Hearing bad behavior, Bald Uncle doesn't get angry. Instead, he flashes an expectant, sinister grin. The teacup rattles. The coordinator thinks he messed up and panics, quickly backtracking to claim Ji-Ung is actually a model student. Unexpectedly, Bald Uncle gets furious, his eyes murderous. Are you saying my young master isn't a bad seed? Completely confused and fearing for his life, the coordinator just agrees. Yes, yes. He is absolutely rotten to the core. The bald gangster corners the teacher, demanding answers about extortion. Terrified, the teacher stammers a denial, but his trembling hands betray his fear against the crushing intimidation. Just as the tension peaks, the gangster abruptly switches gears. He thanks the teacher for the tea and turns to leave, his sudden politeness more terrifying than his rage. With a casual reminder to take care of Ji-Ung, the gangster seals his dominance. The teacher bows frantically in relief, completely broken into submission by the threat. The moment the door closes, the teacher collapses onto the sofa, gasping for air. Wiping cold sweat, he swears to never mess with this family again, grateful just to be alive. Outside the office, the Bald Uncle's mask drops. Glaring at the counseling sign, his eyes fill with disgust and simmering rage, his earlier politeness vanishing instantly. Stalking down the dark corridor to find Ji-Ung, he runs into a cocky student. Instead of running, the kid smirks, unknowingly stepping right into the danger zone. In a split second, the uncle spots the familiar ring on the kid's finger. His eyes go white with rage. It's the missing family heirloom, and the thief just walked right into his trap. The uncle's massive, tattooed frame turns the hallway into a scene of terror. Students shrink back in fear, whispering and trembling, terrified of provoking the walking nightmare. Like a beast hunting prey, he growls, "Where are you hiding?" His gaze locks onto a target in the corner, a smirking punk wearing the stolen ring. Wasting no time, he clamps a heavy hand on the student's shoulder, grinning menacingly. "Gotcha." The kid freezes, spinning around in sheer confusion and terror. The moment he sees the face, the uncle freezes. "Wrong guy." The murderous aura instantly deflates into awkwardness as he mutters an apology, leaving the student shaking in relief. Frustrated, the uncle stands in the hall, itching to kill the thief. But remembering the boss's strict order not to interfere with the young master's battles, he forces himself to hold back. Veins bulging on his forehead, he drops his brass knuckles, fighting every instinct to violently erupt. For Ji-Ung's future, he swallows his rage, though the suppression is agonizing. As the uncle leaves, fuming, the scene shifts to a dark corner outside. The real culprit is out there, flaunting the stolen emerald ring, completely unaware of the danger he avoided. The real thief, Shin Jiang-cheol, sits on a crate, smugly showing off his loot. Oblivious to the ring's deadly significance, he only cares about how much cash it can fetch. When his crew asks for a cut, Jeong Cheol mocks them. Caressing the ring, he claims it's the price for his sacrifice, his greedy smirk showing zero respect for his so-called friends. The deal is struck. Handing over the ring to be sold, Jeong Cheol's eyes gleam with greed, his mind already racing with thoughts of trading the dangerous heirloom for a flashy motorbike. While the thugs dream of easy money, the scene cuts back to school. Ji-young is pacing anxiously, terrified not just about the ring, but that his violent uncle might have actually killed the teacher. Desperate for answers, Ji-young grabs a classmate, praying his uncle only had a friendly chat. But seeing the student's terrified face, his sinking heart tells him the disaster has already happened. Ji-young is freaking out and suddenly screams, "Professor!" startling the whole class. The professor calmly tells him to sit, but the tension is palpable. The professor makes a weird noise and shoots a sharp look. Ji-young's eyes widen in terror. This reaction is definitely not normal. Seeing the professor sweating and avoiding eye contact, Ji-young realizes his scary bald uncle definitely threatened him. Needing to confirm the situation, Ji-young raises his hand, but the professor, clearly on edge, snaps and yells at the interruption. Seeing it's Ji-young, the professor's face instantly changes to a creepy smile, letting him go. The class whispers while Ji-young leaves with a heavy heart. In the hallway, Ji-young grips his phone tight, furious. What the hell did his bald uncle do? Gritting his teeth, he makes the call. Meanwhile, the bald uncle is happily supervising minions hanging a banner, thinking he fixed the problem. Then, his phone rings. It's the young master. The black-haired uncle stares coldly at the phone, while the bald uncle panics and tries to grab it, eager to take credit. With mocking banners everywhere, the bald uncle lies on the phone saying everything is perfect. Hearing that fake tone, alarm bells ring in Ji-young's head. Handled perfectly? Cold sweat runs down Ji-young's face. In the bald uncle's vocabulary, that usually means someone got hurt. The bald uncle keeps rambling, but the black-haired uncle looms behind him with a deadly stare. Before the bald guy can finish his lie, the phone is confiscated. The black-haired uncle takes the phone, his voice ice-cold. He cuts to the chase. Don't forget. Find someone weaker than you and beat them to a pulp. Ji-young tries to stall, but a thunderous roar cuts him off. Do it today. Right now. Terrified, he mutters an agreement and hangs up immediately. As the call ends, the bald uncle collapses in despair, clutching his chest. Why hang up? I didn't get to chat with the young master. While the uncles bicker, Ji-young stands in the school hallway, gripping his phone. His eyes darken. No way out now. He has to become bad. He scans the students in the hallway. Find someone weaker? He sees himself as a level 1 noob, so beating someone similar should be easy, right? But looking closer, everyone is level 2 or 3. Even the wimpy-looking guy is level 5. Ji-young despairs. Is he literally the weakest person in the whole school? He walks towards the boys' bathroom like a zombie. Even the passing students seem towering and intimidating. Splashing cold water on his face, Ji-young leans over the sink in agony. Is there really no one weaker than him? Suddenly, an annoyed voice speaks up. Hey, you're in the way. He turns around and nearly wets himself. A muscle-bound giant stands there, labeled LV.70. That's not a student. That's a final boss. In the restroom, the bully Sang-gu freezes, his confidence shattering the moment he sees Ji-young's massive, mountain-like back muscles. Refusing to back down, the bully swallows his fear, convinces himself he can win, and taps Ji-young on the shoulder to provoke him. Ji-young turns around in confusion, but Sang-gu mistakes it for fear and aggressively demands his $40 back, pointing a finger in his face. Sang-gu, hallucinating a video game interface, mocks Ji-young's acting, until Ji-young's iron grip suddenly clamps onto his throat. It's absurd chaos. Ji-young crushes him while screaming "I'm sorry," leaving Sang-gu screeching in agony as the pressure breaks him. Pain shoots through him. Sang-gu's face twists in agony as he desperately claws at his clothes, eyes bulging in pure terror. Fists fly, but Ji-young is riddled with guilt. To make matters worse, his best friend Song Jung-suk is watching, making the situation excruciatingly awkward. Ji-young glances over and panics, realizing Song Jung-suk hasn't left yet. Rage and sweat pour down his face. He can't let his friend see this side of him. Finally alone, Ji-young grits his teeth and forces himself to focus. Great, he's gone. Now I just need to close my eyes and beat him up. But his fist freezes in midair. Looking at the trembling Sang-gu, Ji-Ung's resolve crumbles. He physically cannot bring himself to land the blow. "You demon!" Ji-Ung roars, smashing his fist into the glass door instead. He's not angry at the bully, but at his own inability to be truly bad. Transition. The title bribed love flashes ominously, hinting at the twisted motivations behind this absurd charade. The adrenaline fades, and Ji-Ung collapses to the floor. He thought becoming a bad guy would feel empowering, but instead, he's left with nothing but hollowness. Flashbacks flood in. Staring at the wall of good deed awards in his memory, the ghost of his former, kind self mocks his current actions. Back when everyone called him Angel Ji-Ung, the warmth and validation felt so real, a stark contrast to the cold reality he's in now. He remembers his uncle's warning. It takes years to be good, but only a second to turn bad. Back then, desperate for love, he had accepted the price. Back in the present, his heart is still racing. Violence is nauseating. His uncle made it sound easy, but tearing apart his conscience is torture. Walking down the dark corridor, he whispers a mantra of self-deception. The first time is always the hardest. For Soo-jin, I'll become a villain, piece by piece. After all, Soo-jin's heart has changed. She doesn't want an angel anymore. To win that smile back, he has to bury his kindness for good. "If you like bad boys, I'll become one." Ji-Ung slams the classroom door open. The room falls silent, stunned by his sudden transformation and intensity. The atmosphere freezes instantly. Students stare at Ji-Ung with pure terror in their eyes, shrinking back as if a demon has just walked in. Soo-jin rushes forward, desperate for a denial. "Ji-Ung, you used to protect Sang-gu. Tell me it's a lie." But Ji-Ung remains stony silent, refusing to defend himself. Classmates whisper that Angel Ji-Ung wouldn't do this. Panicked and sweating, Soo-jin screams at him. "Why won't you say anything? Deny it. Don't just stand there." Ji-Ung finally speaks, cold as ice. "Stop it, Soo-jin." He sneers, mocking her. "You used to hate girls who didn't wear their uniforms properly. Look at yourself now. How ironic." He twists the knife deeper. "You changed too, dating a thug like Ji-Ung Cheol." With a malicious smirk, he adds, "You look hot though. Tell the teacher I'm leaving early." Suddenly, a roar comes from the door. The bully Ji-Ung Cheol blocks the exit, furious. "Who looks hot? Didn't I warn you to stay away from Soo-jin?" Ji-Ung freezes, looking cornered. No time to explain. Ji-Ung Cheol lands a brutal slap. Ji-Ung stumbles back, clutching his face, stammering pitifully. "Wait, just listen to me for a second." Ji-Ung Cheol ignores him, and signals his goons to pin Ji-Ung down. With his rival restrained, the bully raises his ring-adorned fist. "I knew you still liked her. You need a lesson." Wham! The fist connects squarely with his face. Ji-Ung's head snaps back, mouth open in a silent scream of agony. The impact is brutal. The beating continues. Ji-Ung Cheol laughs maniacally. "Don't act like you're dying yet. By the way, I'm actually left-handed." He raises his other fist for another round. Ji-Ung gasps for air, bloodied and bruised. Just as another blow descends, Soo-jin screams in desperation. "Ji-Ung Cheol, stop!" The fist pauses in midair. Ji-Ung Cheol turns his rage toward his girlfriend. "Defending this piece of trash?" He sneers before she can explain. "So the rumors about you two were true after all." He keeps spewing toxic accusations about their relationship. From the floor, battered and bleeding, Ji-Ung barely manages to whisper, "No, it's not like that," trying to deflect the anger. Seeing Ji-Ung Cheol turn on Soo-jin, something snaps in Ji-Ung. Despite being pinned down, he roars with sudden fury. "Stop it! You piece of trash!" The room goes silent. Ji-Ung Cheol turns back in disbelief. "Did you just call me trash?" Even battered on the floor, the fear in Ji-Ung's eyes is gone. Rage ignites in Ji-Ung's eyes. He grinds his teeth and issues a chilling warning. "Beat me all you want. But if you touch Soo-jin, you're a dead man." Soo-jin is stunned by his boldness. But Ji-Ung Cheol just laughs maniacally while holding him down. "Big words for a loser who's being crushed into the floor." Watching the violence, Soo-jin's mind drifts back to their childhood. She remembers innocently vowing to marry a gentle, kind guy just like Ji-Ung. But reality changed. She later claimed she wanted a bad boy. Remembering this, Ji-Ung clenches his fist. "Fine. If you want bad, I'll start by destroying your boyfriend." Eruption. Jung-suk snaps, roaring like a beast as he charges at the foul-mouthed bully. A foot stomps down with seismic force, shaking the room and releasing all pent-up rage. Devastating strike. Even Jung-suk is shocked by his own power as the kick lands, sending shockwaves through the victim. Fist raised high, Jeong Cheol screams in terror as he realizes who is hitting him. Song Jung-suk? Ignoring the crowd screaming, "Are you crazy?" Jung-suk stands cold as ice, not finished yet. No mercy. Fists fly, smashing into Jeong Cheol's face until he hits the floor, bleeding and broken. The bully screams, "Why me?" But Jung-suk squats down coldly. "Because you only prey on others. By the way, I'm left-handed too." Before the words sink in, a devastating punch sends him flying. An agonizing scream echoes through the hall, but Jung-suk just watches with chilling indifference. Total dominance. Boss down. Jung-suk stands and glares at the terrified lackeys. "You guys next? Or are you running?" Panic ensues. The goons scramble away, dragging their leader, leaving a broken Jeong on the floor. The beast turns gentle, extending a caring hand to his friend. "Are you okay? Can you stand?" The walk to the infirmary is torture. Jung-suk is so tall he's practically dragging the injured Jeong. Cut to outside. The battered trio huddles in a corner, humiliation and resentment hanging heavy in the air. Jeong Cheol checks his eye vision blurry. Panic mixes with rage. "Damn it, am I going blind?" The lackeys are trembling. Jung-suk is a monster who destroyed their boss with brute force. They are outmatched. Even beaten to a pulp, Jeong Cheol refuses to quit. "That bastard. I'm going to destroy him completely." A sinister smile forms. "I have connections." Meanwhile, back in the infirmary, tension rises. As Jung-suk turns to leave, Jeong stops him from the bed. "Wait. I need to ask you something." The air in the hospital room is thick. Jeong finally asks why Jung-suk didn't stop him. The answer stuns him. Trust between friends needs no justification. But that trust twists like a knife. Jeong trembles, remembering the truth. He wasn't raising his fist for justice. He just wanted to be violent. Unaware of the truth, Jung-suk comforts him, insisting the guy deserved it. Jeong stares at his protector, completely confused by this unconditional loyalty. Pressed for an answer, the big guy scratches his head and drops the simple truth. No special reason, he just wanted to help. Jung-suk leaves to get a doctor, leaving Jeong alone. He collapses back onto the bed, crushed by guilt. He doesn't feel worthy of such pure friendship. Agony grips him. His friend justifies violence for justice, while he sought violence just to be bad. The contrast is sickening, and he screams a silent apology. Cut to the convenience store. Bad girl Lee Yi-ji tries to befriend two random nerds. They're instantly suspicious. She's definitely after Jeong, isn't she? Bullseye. Yi-ji blushes hard. The guy adjusts his glasses, figuring it out immediately. This girl has fallen for Jeong, and she's fallen hard. Even though they call her a bully, Yi-ji swallows her pride. Desperate for intel, she switches tactics, baiting them with the promise of introducing girlfriends. The naive guy takes the bait and runs with it. Seeing Yi-ji's eager look, he hallucinates a full romance manga scenario. Wait, does she actually like me? Just as Yi-ji asks for their type, the delusional guy has a moral outburst. He screams, "I don't like bullies," instantly killing the vibe. That hits a nerve. Yi-ji worries Jeong sees her the same way. Meanwhile, the guy instantly regrets his outburst, thinking, "Actually, if it's you, I'm okay with it." Fed up with their nonsense, Yi-ji drops the act. Terrified, Jeong hates bad kids. She snaps, slamming the table. "Shut up and just tell me his type." Terrified, the boys spill the beans. Jeong has been obsessed with his childhood friend, Han Soo-jin, for ages. The truth hits hard. One idiot suggests asking Soo-jin directly. Yi-ji gives him a look of pure disgust, mentally screaming at his sheer stupidity. Forget these useless idiots. She'll handle it herself. Yi-ji decides to cut the middleman and ask Jeong directly, her confidence roaring back. She grabs one last piece of intel. Jeong loves pepero and mint choco milk. Armed with these snacks like a key to his heart, she's ready to move. She marches down the hall, excited to deliver the goods, when she overhears shocking news. The box of pepero slips from her hand, hitting the floor. Hearing Jeong was beaten and is in the infirmary, Yi-ji loses it. She snatches up the snacks and sprints frantically, leaving confused students in her wake. She skids to a halt outside the door, gasping for air. Clutching the snacks, she realizes what this panic means. She's not just worried, she's completely in love. Yi-ji sprints down the stairs in her bad guy hoodie, thoughts consumed by him, knocking bystanders aside in her desperation. Cut to Ji-young, the boy who always pretends to be tough, now collapsed on the floor in agony as Yi-ji rushes to find him. Hearing footsteps, Ji-young frantically wipes his tears and feigns sleep just as a breathless, sweating Yi-ji bursts through the door. Rewind slightly. Ji-young was just sobbing over his heartbreak when Yi-ji storms in, dripping with sweat from her frantic run. Yi-ji stares at him, unable to hide her heartbreak, and whispers gently, "Hey, Kong Ji-young, are you okay?" She sets down the food, realizing he's faking sleep. The mere thought of the bully who did this makes her hand tremble with rage. Seeing he won't respond, she coldly says, "Eat when you wake up," and turns to leave, frustrated that she even bothered coming. Yi-ji walks out with murder in her eyes, vowing revenge. Ji-young sits up, staring at the food in total confusion. Why did she help him? Before he can process it, footsteps approach again. Panic seizes him. Is it the doctor this time? The door opens at Soo-jin, his crush. Terrified she'll see his tear-stained face, he instantly flops back down and feigns sleep. Meanwhile in the hallway, Yi-ji stares at the mint chocolate milk and almond snacks, realizing she bought the exact things Ji-young hates. Whatever, I like them. She tosses the snacks in the trash out of spite, muttering about how annoying he is, masking her hurt. Looking back at the room, Yi-ji thinks bitterly to herself, a bully like me. Ji-young probably hates my guts. Back in the room, the doctor arrives. Ji-young sweats nervously under the covers, while Soo-jin keeps a worried vigil by his side. Teary-eyed, Soo-jin begs the doctor to help him, while her friend Jung-suk quietly excuses himself from the doorway. When the doctor asks what happened, Soo-jin sweats nervously and stammers out a lie. He fell down the stairs. Lying there, Ji-young listens in silence, gritting his teeth through the physical and emotional pain. The doctor buys it, sighing that the angelic Ji-young always gets hurt helping others. Soo-jin can only awkwardly agree. Soo-jin leaves to let him rest. The doctor tries to examine him, but finds him shaking uncontrollably. Ji-young, can you please lie still? Inside the infirmary, Ji-young curls up, trembling and drenched in tears. The doctor realizes in shock that he's been enduring excruciating pain in silence just to keep his crush from worrying. The doctor steps out, watching through the glass as Ji-young sobs uncontrollably. Heartbroken by his silent suffering, she decides he needs to be transferred to a proper hospital immediately. Meanwhile on a rooftop, the bully Shin Jaeong-cheol plots to sell the stolen ring. While his partner wants to wait for gold prices to rise, Jaeong-cheol is desperate to cash out right now. Their scheme is interrupted by a furious shout. The bad girl Lee Yi-ji storms onto the scene, confronting Jaeong-cheol about the stolen ring and ruining his secret meeting. Intimidated by Yi-ji's intensity, the accomplices bail immediately. Left alone, Jaeong-cheol clutches his head in frustration, cursing her for wrecking his plans yet again. Yi-ji screams at him in disbelief, asking if he's lost his mind. But Jaeong-cheol plays the innocent victim, asking why she's making a fuss out of nowhere. When Jaeong-cheol claims he's the victim, Yi-ji laughs in disgust, regretting she ever had feelings for such trash. In response, Jaeong-cheol erupts into twisted, maniacal laughter. Dropping the act, he sneers with cruel malice, telling Yi-ji he never liked her, he just toyed with her because her feelings were so obvious and pathetic. Yi-ji recalls the painful moment when he ignored her texts, only for her to catch him flirting with someone else. The realization hits her like a truck. Jaeong-cheol's shameless attitude shatters Yi-ji. Tears stream down her face as she struggles to comprehend how she fell for someone so heartless. The scumbag has the audacity to touch her chin and compare her to Han Soo-jin. Revolted by his mockery, Yi-ji snaps and violently shoves him away. When Yi-ji threatens to call the police, Jaeong-cheol just sneers, "Who would believe a delinquent like you?" His words strike a nerve, leaving her feeling utterly powerless. Yi-ji fights an internal war trying to justify his actions, but finally snaps and screams stop. Just then, Han Soo-jin stumbles upon the chaotic scene. Soo-jin demands to know if he's dating Yi-ji. Jaeong-cheol plays dumb, acting annoyed, while Yi-ji stands there in silence, her heart completely shattered. Cornered, Jaeong-cheol explodes, dropping a bombshell. "I'm not dating her, and I'm dumping you too." Soo-jin freezes, unable to process the sudden, brutal rejection. Soo-jin collapses to her knees in shock. Jaeong-cheol, cold as ice, turns to Yi-ji and threatens to kill her and her friends if she ever approaches him again. As the scumbag storms off hurling insults, Soo-jin is left reeling. Seeing Yi-ji sobbing uncontrollably on the ground, her anger shifts to concern, and she steps in to check on her. Exhausted by the drama, Soo-jin lets out a heavy sigh. Resigning herself to the situation, she heads toward the infirmary, trying to process the chaos. Back at the infirmary, Ji-young is dressed and ready to bolt. Despite the doctor's frantic protests, he forces a smile and insists he'll go to the hospital with his parents, hiding his true condition. Unable to stop him, the doctor watches helplessly as he leaves. Ji-young strides down the corridor, his back turned, hiding the immense pain he carries with every step. Ji-young is done being the nice guy. He clenches his fist, eyes burning with a new resolve. To protect Soo-jin, he's willing to become the villain. Putting on a brave face, he strolls back home. "I'm back," he calls out cheerfully, completely unaware of the storm waiting inside. The silence is deafening. Ji-young steps in and freezes his uncles. The tough mobsters are all kneeling on the floor in terror. Seeing his men bloodied and broken, panic sets in. Sweat pours down Ji-young's face as he screams, "What the hell is going on here?" A chilling voice cuts through the chaos. "You should be at school." Ji-young spins around, his blood running cold, as he recognizes the man in the shadows. It's him, his father, the mob boss Kong Han-kook. He flashes a cruel, predatory smile. "You don't look very happy to see your old man, son." The tension in the room is suffocating. Ji-young is paralyzed with fear, while his father sits back, seemingly enjoying his son's terror. The boss pats the seat next to him. "Stop standing there like an idiot. Come here. Sit." It's not an invitation, it's an order. Instinctively, Ji-young drops to his knees to apologize. His father moves like a ghost, looming over him in an instant. "It's been a while, hasn't it?" The father's smile vanishes. His eyes burn with disappointed rage, staring down at his son like he's a piece of worthless trash. He orders Ji-young to stand and inspects him from head to toe. "You've grown," he sneers. "You're starting to look just like me." Then he drops the bomb. "I heard you're a troublemaker at school. But from what I see, you're just the one getting beaten up, aren't you?" He points at the bruises on Ji-young's face. "Look at you. Beaten to a pulp again? Is this really my son?" The disdain cuts deeper than any knife. The boss snaps. He orders immediate successor training. Ji-young panics, screaming back, "But Dad, you promised I could live a normal, kind life." "I gave you 10 years, his father replies coldly. "And you wasted them getting bullied. Take the training, or I cut ties with you forever." Under the barrage of insults, Ji-young trembles. Tears well up, fists clench, and he finally snaps, I suffered too, Dad. It hasn't been easy." Tears streaming, Ji-young lets it all out. "I didn't choose this family. Why force me? I have my own life." For a second, the father actually looks surprised. The surprise turns into a dark chuckle. "Your own life? Fine." He turns his back. "If you want to win against your father, I guess I'll just have to get rid of my son." They stand face to face, one a monster, the other a desperate boy. The father's eyes are cold as ice. Ji-young realizes he just walked into a trap he can't escape. The boss buttons his shirt and lays it out cold. If Ji-young won't take the throne, he has plenty of illegitimate sons ready to replace him. Ji-young begs for more time, but the godfather's patience has run dry. 10 years of playing good boy is over. The ultimatum drops. Decide by tomorrow or be disowned and cut off from every luxury he's ever known. Ji-young freezes in terror. As his father walks away, Ji-young collapses to his knees, utterly broken by the cruelty of the monster he calls Dad. The moment the big boss leaves, the battered uncles finally exhale, the room's suffocating tension lifting just a fraction. Uncle Guy Sang lies flattened on the floor, absolutely drained from the brutal discipline session he just endured. The subordinate's forced smiles, pretending the brutal beating was just a refreshing workout to save face in front of the hierarchy. But behind closed doors, the inner circle is anxious. Does the young master actually have the guts to take the throne? It's survival, not just family drama. If a new heir steps in, this entire faction will be purged without mercy. Under the shower, Ji-young stares at the jagged scars covering his body, painful, hidden reminders of a violent past he wants to forget. A knock at the door sends him into a panic, scrambling to cover his scars with long sleeves before his uncle enters. The uncle walks in and gets straight to the point, frustrated by the fresh bruises on Ji-young's face from yet another beating. Ji-young snaps, screaming the truth. It's not physical weakness, he simply can't bring himself to hurt those weaker than him. His uncle switches tactics, manipulating him, gets stronger, and you can choose who to fight and who to protect. Seeing the hesitation in Ji-young's eyes, the uncle backs off, leaving him alone to let the manipulative words sink in. You need power to protect what's yours. Those words strike deep, haunting Ji-young as he sits alone in the dark. His mind floods with images of Soo-jin crying and the scum who threatened to use her against him. He feels utterly powerless. Just as he wrestles with the fear of becoming a monster, his phone rings at Soo-jin. Fate is forcing his hand. A weak, sobbing voice on the other end sends a jolt of pure panic through him. Ji-young springs from his bed, heart pounding. Hearing her cries shatters his hesitation. Screw being good to save her, he has no choice but to embrace the monster within. He can't sit still any longer. Ji-young storms out of his room and shouts downstairs, "Uncles, I've made my decision." The atmosphere freezes instantly. Uncle Jok stands above, while bald Uncle Gaisang and the crew wait below, as if they expected this moment. Ji-young roars through gritted teeth, "I'll take the successor training. To crush those bastards, I'll become worse than any of them." This plea ignites the room. The uncles tear up with joy. They've waited 10 long years for their young master's awakening. The flames of revenge burn in his eyes, igniting the entire family's fighting spirit to reclaim justice for their young master. Uncle Jok makes the call immediately. "Done. Forget school, I'll handle the paperwork. Gaisang, you're in charge of the training." Bald Uncle Gaisang drops the smile, his face deadly serious. "Young master, are you absolutely sure? Successor training is pure hell." The fire in Ji-young's eyes doesn't flicker, but he suddenly remembers something crucial. "Wait. I have a question." When Gaisang asks about the family ring, Ji-young breaks into a cold sweat. "The ring was taken by the guy I want to destroy." Gaisang offers to crush the thief immediately, but Ji-young stops him. His eyes turn savage. "No. That bastard. I'll finish him myself." Moved by his grit, Gaisang pulls Ji-young into a crushing bear hug. "That's exactly what I wanted to hear, young master." Warmth over. Gaisang instantly switches to drill sergeant mode. "Change into your battle uniform. To the gym. Now!" Ji-young sheds his pajamas, revealing a scarred back. As he ties his black belt, his eyes shift. The weak student is dead. Staring at the wall of files, he clears his mind. If there's no future, he'll carve a path through the darkness with his own hands. A massive spectral bear roars behind him. Ji-young vows to himself, "From now on, I am the successor of the Flame Bear family, Kong Ji-young." In the gym, Ji-young stands ready. Bald Uncle enters in tight sportswear, his massive frame looking like a walking mountain. Gaisang announces with a smirk, "First, a basic fitness test. The big 3. Ji-young looks completely clueless. Even though the kid looks clueless, Gaisang leads him to the squat rack. "Let's start with just the empty bar to get the feel." But the moment he shoulders the empty bar, Ji-young shakes like a leaf, screaming red-faced, This is way too heavy." Training starts with a flop. The young master is already making a face like he's dying under a mere 20-kilogram squat. Next is the bench press. Bald Uncle hovers over him like a protective parent, terrified the empty bar might crush him. Predictably, his arms shake like leaves as he screams for help. His physical weakness is truly appalling. Bald Uncle is mentally shattered. 40 kilograms total? While the young master brags about a pump, Uncle questions reality and moves to the final test. With zero expectations left, Uncle sets up the deadlift, ready to jump in and save him at any moment. But then clang! The young master lifts the bar effortlessly. Uncle's eyes nearly pop out of his skull in shock. The barbell hits the floor with a thud. The young master pants lightly, confused why this feels so much easier than the rest. Uncle's brain races and connects the dots. Years of carrying heavy bags for the elderly turn the young master into a deadlift monster. To test his theory, Uncle proposes arm wrestling. Looking at his own massive arm, he confidently promises to go easy. They take their positions. The young master stares at that massive, vein-popping arm, his heart pounding with dread. The minions worry their boss will snap the kid's arm, but the moment they grip hands, Uncle's expression changes instantly. While the kid begs for mercy, Uncle drops the playful act. His eyes turn sharp and serious. It begins. The young master grits his teeth, sweating bullets. He expected to lose instantly, but he's holding his ground. Stalemate. The minions jeer, accusing him of letting the kid win. Furious, Uncle veins pop as he screams he's not holding back. The room is awkward. Everyone thinks Uncle is acting to boost the kid's ego, oblivious to the real power struggle happening. Uncle finally realizes it. This insane grip strength isn't talented from 10 years of giving massages to the entire gang. Flashback to the past. The kid massaged their shoulders daily like a good boy. They praised his skill, missing the hidden training. Every forceful press turned his hands into iron vices. It wasn't just kindness, it was accidental, brutal grip training. Realizing this, Uncle gets excited. He doesn't mind losing today because he finally sees the kid's true, monstrous potential. Out of respect, Uncle stops holding back. With a roar, he unleashes full power, but the young master's arm doesn't budge an inch. The spectators think it's a prank, but bald Uncle is nearly foaming at the mouth, screaming in defeat, "Young master, I'm so proud of you." Ji-young is just as shocked, clutching his chest and staring at his own hand in disbelief. Wait, did I actually just win? The minions are trembling. He just took down their arm wrestling champion. They realize the young master has insane raw power. He just doesn't know how to control it yet. A realization hits hard. If someone actually teaches him proper technique, the young master would be absolutely unstoppable. Ji-young worriedly asks if his uncle is okay, but the uncle is staring in awe. He sees the spirit of the fiery bear family awakening right behind the boy. It's not just a win, it's an awakening. Everyone realizes that with a little training, he could easily rule the entire school or worse. Suddenly, bald Uncle clasps his hands and begs with total seriousness, "Young master, please lie down next to me," leaving Ji-young completely confused. Ji-young suspects the uncle went easy on him, but the uncle cuts him off. The result is all that matters. Winning is what makes you the heir. Now that the potential is proven, bald Uncle makes a snap decision. Skip school. We're starting closed-door hell training right now. Ji-young hesitates, worried about school, but the uncle roars at him, "Want your ring back? Want to stop being a victim? Then suck it up and get stronger." Ji-young's hesitation vanishes. He looks at the extended hand, grits his teeth, and grabs it. "Okay, uncle. Let's do this." The training is brutal, running until his lungs burn. 3 days pass, and back at school, his desk sits empty and silent. 2 students are chatting happily in the hallway when a massive shadow falls over them. A scary-looking man blocks their path. It's Ji-young's friend, Song Jung-suk. Hearing that Ji-young is missing and surrounded by scary uncles, he worriedly heads to the toast shop where Ji-young works. He clutches a bag of toast, his back turned, weighed down by worry for his missing friend. As he arrives, a little girl rushes down the stairs and tackles him with a hug. "Appa, you're home early." The little sister pouts, worried that the gentle Appa hasn't visited lately. She's scared he got beaten up and left somewhere again. Even though he thinks Ji-young is weak, seeing his sister so worried melts his heart. He gives her a piggyback ride and promises, "Don't worry, I'll find him." Following the address from the teacher, he stands before a daunting mansion. Looking at the closed gate, a bad feeling starts to creep in. Song Jung-suk arrives at the address, only to be stopped by 2 terrifying thugs. Panicked, he quickly drops Kong Ji-young's name to save himself. Hearing the young master's name, the guards instantly bow down. But inside, their superior screams at them for letting a stranger in so easily, creating a suffocating atmosphere. In the living room, Jung-suk hands over his student ID with trembling hands. The host is polite, but the heavy gangster vibe makes him sweat bullets. The suspicious uncle relaxes slightly upon seeing the judo bag. Jung-suk quickly explains he's just looking for his missing classmate. The uncle calls for the trainer. A tattooed, bald man appears. The sheer pressure of these men leaves Jung-suk frozen in fear on the sofa. The bald man recognizes him as the judo prospect he once scouted. The tension eases slightly, but meeting an acquaintance here only complicates things. The misunderstanding is cleared, but this is no ordinary mansion. The bald man signals him to follow, leading him to where Ji-young is training. Stopping at a door marked training, the bald man smiles creepily. Perfect timing. You can help the young master warm up. Inside, Jung-suk stares in horror. Ji-young is training brutally. The bald man orders Jung-suk to step in as a sparring partner, leaving no room for refusal. Watching the fight, Jung-suk's athlete instincts kick in. He's not just scared, but shocked. Ji-young's technique is rough, but his speed is unreasonable. Suddenly, Ji-young lifts his opponent with one hand and slams him down. Jung-suk's jaw drops at this inhuman grip strength and destructive power. The bald man taunts him, pricking his pride. Facing such monstrous strength is terrifying. but Jung-suk's dignity as a judoka won't let him back down. "I'll try." Jung-suk drops his bag, his gaze shifting from fear to determination. The bald man grins satisfied. The special training begins. Ji-young looks at his friend not with warmth, but with beastly provocation. Jung-suk screams internally. This isn't a reunion, it's a death sentence. They take their stances. Ji-young grips the floor with bare feet, radiating an aura that tells Jung-suk clearly, this is no longer the nerd who only studied. The moment they clash, Ji-young moves like lightning. Jung-suk's pride in his reflexes is shattered as he takes a heavy hit before he can even react. This isn't sparring, it's a massacre. Ji-young pins Jung-suk like a predator. The absolute gap in strength leaves Jung-suk struggling just to breathe. Jung-suk collapses, gasping for air, feeling like his bones are falling apart. Ji-young asks, "You okay?" coldly, his indifference hurting more than his fists. Refusing to give up, Jung-suk tries a boxing stance, but to the awakened Ji-young, he's full of openings. He gets blasted away instantly. In desperation, Jung-suk attempts a tackle, only to be caught effortlessly like a child. He realizes now that the gap in physique and power is insurmountable. Ji-young unleashes a brutal face-crushing grip, digging into the bone and forcing a scream of agony from Jung-suk. Enraged by the dirty tactic, the judo ace roars, realizing this isn't sparring, it's survival. He swings a heavy counterpunch. Before he can recover, searing pain shoots through his leg. Ji-young is using a dirty pinching technique. Jung-suk breaks into a cold sweat. It's not just a pinch, the bald uncle proudly explains, it's a lethal grip meant to crush the muscle structure directly. Pushed to the brink, Jung-suk abandons restraint and goes for the throat. It's kill or be killed now. Choked breathless, Ji-young mocks surrender, claiming his arms are too short to reach back, which only tightens Jung-suk's death grip. In that moment, Ji-young's eyes shift. If being good can't protect her, he decides to become a true villain. Exhausted, Jung-suk asks the question haunting him. If you're this strong, why did you let those bullies beat you before? The bald uncle cuts in, calling for medics and kindly inviting the bruised sparring partner to stay for dinner. Looking back, Jung-suk freezes. Ji-young is smiling through his injuries. It's an absolutely chilling sight. I feel alive. Ji-young's awakening thrills his uncle, who immediately celebrates by throwing steaks on the grill. At the dinner table, the uncle serves steak with a smile. Jung-suk stares at the meat, sweating bullets, too terrified to eat. The trap snaps shut. Uncle demands he stay for a week. Jung-suk desperately uses his little sister as an excuse to escape. Judo practice? Uncle dials the coach immediately. In seconds, Jung-suk's last escape route is cut off. Facing the uncle's friendly pressure, Jung-suk is forced to agree. It's not hospitality, it's a hostage situation. Ji-young chimes in with fake concern. If you don't like the food, just say so. But it sounds more like a veiled threat. Under their watchful eyes, Jung-suk forces the food down, tasting nothing but fear, and scrambles to leave. Ji-young insists on walking him out, making small talk about the house that feels heavy with sarcasm. At the door, Ji-young forces a bag of bloody raw meat into his hands. For your sister. Refusal is not an option. Walking home with a heavy bag of raw meat, Jung-suk looks back at the mansion, a cold chill running down his spine. Cut to Ji-young walking home, a confident smile on his face. He's got steak for dinner, and his little sister welcomes him with pure joy. Back at school, Lee Ji stares at her phone. Her messages to Ji-young are going unread. Where is this idiot? Did he lose his phone or something? She tries to deny she cares, screaming I am Lee Ji, but her friends see right through it. They tease her about true love and suggest she just go to his house. Yi-ji hesitates, so her friend offers a solution. If going alone is too awkward, just drag Ji-young's guy friends along with you. She pumps her fist in excitement then freezes. Wait, how did they know? Her friends just laugh. She's literally the only one who thinks she's being subtle. Embarrassment aside, she skips away happily to start her mission. Her friends whisper about how cute she's acting, shocking her one last time. She tries to recruit 2 guys, but they flat out refuse. Turns out, climbing out a bronze rank in their video game is way more important than Ji-young's safety. When these bronze scrubs try to trash talk her skills, Yi-ji drops a bomb. She's actually a platinum rank player. She dismisses the insects with a cold sneer. Watching the gamers tremble with jealousy, Yi-ji sighs in disgust. Just as she gives up on them, she spots a familiar figure with a judo bag walking away. It's Song Jung-suk. Yi-ji immediately switches on the charm, smiling sweetly and asking if he's free, leaving him completely confused. As they walk, Yi-ji tries to thank him, but Jung-suk casually mentions he was heading to Ji-young's place anyway. Yi-ji freezes in panic. Does everyone know her plan? Jung-suk points out that her crush is common knowledge. Blushing furiously, she snaps at him to shut up and follow her until she realizes she has no idea where she's going. From the stairs, two figures watch them leave. Lee Do-park, the judo club captain, smears something red on his lips, staring at them with a creepy, knowing smile. While discussing Jung-suk, Lee Do-park drops the lipstick tube. The scene shifts to the dark city streets, where a different kind of trouble is brewing. At a shady pawn shop, a guy in a brown suit prepares to sell a stolen ring, bragging about gold prices. His masked partner looks nervous about the sketchy location. Inside, the shop is dark and empty. The clerk sits with his back turned, ignoring them. The suit guy yells at him, trying to mask his growing unease. The atmosphere turns icy as the bald clerk starts giggling and humming a hide-and-seek song. The masked guy realizes something is wrong and bolts in terror. The door slams shut, locking them in. Before the suit guy can react, the bald man turns around, clutching a spiked weapon and promising death to anyone who can't hide. The thug screams for the police, but it's too late. The bald man removes his sunglasses, his eyes locking onto his prey with terrifying precision. Found you. The bald uncle flashes a demonic grin, brass knuckles gleaming. The thieves realize they've messed with the wrong people, and absolute terror takes over. Before the shutter, the bald uncle removes his sunglasses, eyes cold as ice. The suit guy sweats bullets, realizing instantly his partner in red sold him out. Cornered, the suit guy screams insults to hype himself up. The uncle doesn't hesitate. A gut-shattering punch shuts him up instantly. Before he can recover, his hair is yanked back. The uncle warns him grimly about the ring, then eyes his thick hair and calls for clippers. It's time for a shave. This is the price of crossing the wrong people. Violence breaks him down to tears, marking the protagonist's descent into the world of bad guys. Scene shift to a luxury mansion. School fighter Song Jung-suk and tough girl Lee Yi-ji ring the bell, greeted by a stone-faced guard in a suit. Stepping inside, Yi-ji's jaw drops. The wimp Kong Ji-young is actually filthy rich. The house is massive, like a labyrinth. They stop before a heavy door. The bodyguard knocks respectfully. "Young master, your friends are here." The atmosphere suddenly turns serious. The door opens to reveal the terrifying bald uncle she saw on the street. Yi-ji freezes, realizing she's staring at a real mobster. The uncle teases with a smirk. "Young master got a girlfriend?" Yi-ji turns beet red, waving her hands frantically to deny it, terrified of the implication. Heavy footsteps echo on the floor. Kong Ji-young finally appears, dripping with sweat from intense training, radiating a different energy. Yi-ji stares at him. He looks tougher, sharper. Ji-young just smiles calmly, asking what brings her here. Before they can chat, the uncle signals for the show. Confused, Yi-ji watches as Ji-young and Song Jung-suk square off and collide with brutal force. Locked in a grapple, Song Jung-suk is shocked by his friend's strength. Ji-young grits his teeth. "I've been training with you every day, of course I improved." Unable to match his strength, Ji-young aims for the joints. But Jung-suk is a pro. He executes a swift sweep, slamming Ji-young to the mat. Thud. That looked painful. The uncle analyzes calmly. Since his reach is short, he should use his monstrous grip strength to focus on ground grappling instead. Fight over, the guys help each other up, laughing. Yi-ji is baffled. They were trying to kill each other a second ago, now they're bonding? Workout done, it's time to eat. Ji-young sheepishly invites everyone to try the noodles cooked by the mobster uncle. Yi-ji, looking drained, just goes along with it. At the table, Ji-young tries to break the ice, thanking Yi-ji for the steak. The conversation shifts to his absence from school. His excuse? Closed-door training. Yi-ji asks, "Training means no calls?" Jung-suk explains between bites. Phones are confiscated during training. The misunderstanding is cleared up, though it still sounds fishy. Training wraps up, and bald uncle returns the phone. Ji-young's eyes widen at the screen, while Soo-jin panics, frantically screaming at him not to read it aloud. Unable to hold it back, Ji-young bursts into a suppressed giggle. Humiliated, Soo-jin explodes with rage, pointing a finger and screaming at the idiot for laughing at her secret. The mob uncles watch with warm relief, noting how rare it is to see their young master laugh. Later, standing before the massive mansion, Ji-young waves goodbye to his friends. They bicker playfully about who ate more steak, the atmosphere light and normal, promising to meet at school tomorrow as they walk away into the night. Ji-young sighs, grateful for the friendship. The bald uncle turns serious, reminding him that tomorrow is his big return to school, pledging his eternal loyalty and belief. Morning breaks, and Ji-young is up before the alarm. Bald uncle is already there, straightening his tie and presenting a perfectly pressed uniform, like a devoted butler. He struggles with the stiff collar, only to find the uncle has reinforced it with wire for safety. Sweating, Ji-young mentally notes to buy a normal uniform later. As he descends the stairs, a legion of suited subordinates bows in unison. Their thunderous greeting nearly makes the young master jump out of his skin. Outside is even worse, a full convoy and security detail wait for him. When the uncle insists on an armed escort to school, Ji-young freezes in sheer terror at the absurdity. The driver beams while holding the door. Ji-young invites his uncle in, but the bald man refuses, solemnly stating he'll follow in the chase car for maximum protection. The convoy roars down the street, sandwiching his car. Trapped inside, Ji-young watches the spectacle in horror, regretting his decision to accept the heavy burden of the family title. Mercifully, the car stops short of the school. The driver tells him to walk the rest of the way, and Ji-young practically leaps out, overjoyed to escape the embarrassing convoy. Talk about bad luck, he runs right into the bully, Shin Jae-cheol, smoking in an alley. But this time, the bully trembles at the sight of him, fear replacing his usual arrogance. Seeing his tormentor alone, Ji-young smiles. The prey has become the predator. Shin Jae-cheol sweats profusely, unnerved by his victim's sudden, confident grin. Ji-young steps closer, his voice cold and commanding. "Show me your right hand." He's hunting for the stolen family ring, and he won't take no for an answer. The bully plays dumb, but Ji-young doesn't blink. He extends his hand, his eyes burning with a dangerous intensity that demands absolute obedience. Humiliated by being ordered around by his former victim, the bully lashes out, screaming insults to mask his trembling fear, though his voice wavers. Talk is cheap. Ji-young unleashes the pickaxe grip technique he mastered in training, crushing the bully's shoulder until he screams in pure agony. As Shin Jae-cheol collapses, writhing in pain, Ji-young spots that the green gemstone ring is sitting right there on the bastard's finger. Got him. Before the bully can recover, Ji-young slams a kick into his face. Suddenly, a strange light flashes from the ring, signaling that this fight isn't over yet. Standoff in the alley. The bald thug emerges from the shadows, eyes screaming murder, as he issues a death threat. Ji-young freezes. That thug is wearing his stolen uniform. The prophecy of the ring's owner returning just got real. Realization hits the thug in the hat. The guy standing there is the ring owner he fears. Panic sets in. Terror turns to violence. The thug screams die, and lands a heavy blow, knocking Ji-young backward. The impact triggers a memory. His mentor's voice roars, "Forget fancy moves. Use that crushing grip strength." Crack! Ji-young crushes the attacking hand effortlessly. The bully screams, realizing he messed with a monster. Sweating bullets, the thug tries to bluff. He screams his name, hoping his reputation still carries some weight. He throws a desperate punch. From the shadows, the scarred uncle watches his puppet dance silently. Ji-young stands tense. In the dark, the uncle strokes his chin, coldly grading the violence like a test. The twist revealed, it's a setup. The uncle commands via earpiece, "Lose the fight. Let him take the ring naturally." Why obey? Because defiance means death. Flashback to the torture room, the uncle holding clippers, eyes cold as ice. Psychological warfare. The uncle broke the thug by destroying his friend first. Compliance was the only option left. "We're just students." Their pleas were drowned out by the buzzing razor. No mercy, only fear. The warning was etched in terror, "Mess up, and I'll hunt you down every time your hair grows back." Broken and bald, the bully knelt in his own hair, screaming yes. Complete and utter submission. Back to reality. The thug is trapped. Win and die by the uncle's hand, or lose and maybe survive. A lethal dilemma. Panic takes over. He screams and throws a wild punch, fighting for his life, caught between two monsters. Hat knocks off, revealing the shame. Bleeding on the ground, he sticks to the script, taunting Ji-young to finish it. Ji-young ends it with a final punch. He reaches down coldly for the prize. "Hand over that right hand." Reunited? Ji-young grips the family ring in triumph. Watching from the shadows, the uncle grins like a proud parent. Uncle Baldy flashes a sinister grin while his men pin the battered bully to the ground. Ji-young stares in disbelief as the word, young master, drops like a bomb. Wait, what is happening? Before he can protest, Uncle shoves him into the car, insisting on a door-to-door escort. Ji-young looks out the window. An entire fleet of black sedans is rolling out. Is this a school run or an invasion? The convoy screeches to a halt at the gate, terrifying the students and teachers who think it's a mob hit. Then the window rolls down, and Ji-young pops his head out with a painful, awkward smile. Hi everyone. Ji-young has given up on dignity, but the suits are just getting started. Car doors fly open in sync, and dozens of burly men swarm out, their dress shoes thundering against the pavement. The bodyguards march in perfect formation, radiating pure menace. This isn't a school drop-off, it's a Godfather's procession, and the intimidation factor is off the charts. A wall of bodyguards blocks the entrance, turning the school gate into a fortress. Students huddle in fear, whispering frantically as someone recognizes the bald man from Ji-young's house. The teachers are trembling, begging the director to intervene. But one bodyguard coolly reaches for the weapon in his jacket, silencing the terrified administrator instantly. The moment Ji-young steps out, the mobsters bow in unison, their voices booming. Have a good day at school, young master! With that one shout, his reputation is utterly destroyed. Jaws drop everywhere. The class angel is a mob prince? Ji-young stands frozen, sweating bullets as he sees the fear in his classmates' eyes. It's over. Since there's no hiding it, Ji-young's expression hardens. He stands tall, and the crowded path instantly clears, everyone backing away from the bad guy, in terror. Only his best friend, Song Jung-suk, stands frozen. He stares at the fierce-looking Ji-young flanked by bodyguards, unable to reconcile this mobster with the softy he knows. Jung-suk forces himself to walk up, muttering about dying of embarrassment, but he sticks by Ji-young's side. Ji-young watches his awkward friend, feeling a sudden wave of warmth. From a distance, the delinquent girl Lee Yi-ji just stares. Her friend, fed up, gives her a shove. Stop gawking like an idiot and go get him! She sprints up and wedges herself right between the two boys, slinging her arms around them with a grin. Hey! I'm coming too, let's go! Watching the trio walk away, the other guys are seething with jealousy and confusion. Since when is Ji-young hanging out with the delinquent queen? This makes no sense. Rumors are exploding, with students suspecting everyone close to Ji-young. Meanwhile, teachers are under siege. Director, there are mobsters on campus, do something. The director tries to wipe his sweat, but feels a chill down his spine. He turns to see Uncle Baldy staring daggers at him, a predator locking onto its prey. A teacher brings up the director's old war stories, but he's already broken. Forget that bald guy is a one-man army. Call an emergency meeting, now! The faculty meeting is grim. Teachers sit in heavy silence, staring into space. Faced with a mob prince enrolling in their school, they have absolutely no idea what to do. Chaos erupts in the faculty room. The vice principal sweats profusely, hands trembling, while the principal drums his fingers in disbelief. Ji-young, their model student, a mob boss? Panic sets in. The school's safety is on the line. A teacher tries to defend Ji-young, pleading against prejudice, but an older colleague cuts him off. Thugs are the cancer of society. The principal sits frozen, desperately clinging to the image of his model student amidst the shouting. Awards don't matter anymore. The hardline verdict is in. The rotten root must be cut out. A teacher demands immediate transfer. The principal gasps, clutching his head. Transfer? Shocked by the extreme measure. The room freezes in terror. Sweat pours down everyone's faces. The principal stammers, T-transfer? Eyes wide with panic. The reality of expelling their star pupil hits him like a truck. On the rooftop, the student council president pieces it together. Adjusting his glasses, book in hand, he realizes the morning's chaos makes perfect sense now. The perfect student isn't who he pretends to be. You knew? The vice president gasps. The president denies it, looking up at the sky in resignation. They both struggle to accept that their polite, well-behaved classmate is actually a young mafia boss. Silence hangs heavy between them. Arms crossed, heads bowed, they stand paralyzed by the weight of the truth. The shock renders them speechless as the wind howls around them. He's the next president, the girl panics. The president muses darkly that Ji-young's excessive kindness might have been a mask all along. Rumors are spreading fast, and the school's reputation is hanging by a thread. Shock turns to action. Walking along the roof edge, They decide there's only one way to handle this: confront Kong Ji-young directly. Despite the fear, they resolve to face the mobster student head-on. Ji-young slides the classroom door open, and chaos erupts. Girls gasp in terror. A boy jumps up, screaming, "You demon!" "I knew it!" The hostility is instant, overwhelming, and directed straight at him. "You filth!" shouts another. Students whisper in the corners, convinced his kindness was a trap. They're terrified they'll end up beaten like Sanku if they make one wrong move around this mobster. "Psychos act nice too," someone whispers. Ji-young stands frozen, sweat pouring down his face, while memories of them calling him angel replay in his mind, mocking him. The contrast is pure psychological torture. Praises of Angel Ji-young echo in the void, clashing with the harsh reality. Students recoil, whispering, "Look at his eyes. He's a real mobster." The fear in the room is suffocating. In the hallway, 3 students freeze at a door. The middle one starts trembling violently, gasping for air. His friends look at him, confused and concerned. "What's wrong? Why aren't you going in?" He can't breathe. Hyperventilating, face pale with terror, he clamps a hand over his mouth. His sudden panic attack startles his friends, sending a wave of shock through the group. He's losing it. It's Ji-young running away. He sprints down the hallway, tears in his eyes. The uncle's cruel words haunt him. Becoming bad takes only a moment. "All your efforts gone. Can you handle that?" "I'm not okay with this," he screams internally, sobbing. Suddenly, he runs into classmates. Instinct kicks and he tries to mask his breakdown, stammering, guys," but the fear is written all over his face. His mask crumbles. He walks past them like a zombie, footsteps heavy and awkward. The other students shrink back, terrified by his distorted expression and strange behavior. He's completely isolated. The moment he passes them, he breaks. Face twisting in ugly agony, tears streaming down, he lets out a strangled cry. 10 years of effort destroyed. He's completely falling apart in public. Kong Ji-young, the angel student, finally breaks, tears streaming down his face. The horrified stares of his classmates pierce through him, branding him a bad person. He chases after him, sweating in panic, trying to explain. But his best friend Song Jung-suk turns, with a gaze so cold it freezes the words in Ji-young's throat. "I didn't believe you wanted to be a bad guy before, but I do now." Jung-suk roars. The pieces fit his best friend is the heir to a mafia family. Faced with the accusation, Ji-young can't force a lie. Trembling, he admits the truth: his uncle, and he himself, are tied to the mob. The truth shatters their years of friendship instantly. As Jung-suk points an accusing finger, Ji-young feels a pain sharper than any physical blow. His mind drifts back 3 years. The news was blasting reports about the Hidden Dragon Mafia being arrested for brutal crimes. The tension was palpable. Back then, Jung-suk cheered at the news, vowing to become a police officer and catch this trash. Ji-young sat beside him, sweating bullets, too terrified to speak. That moment of cowardice kept his secret buried for 10 years. Now, Ji-young is consumed by regret. Would things be different if he had confessed sooner? 10 years? Did you trust me for even a second? Jung-suk drops these words and walks away without looking back, leaving Ji-young stunned. The atmosphere in the corridor drops to freezing. Bad girl Lee Yi-ji watches the friendship crumble, her expression complex. Passers-by mock them, and with Jung-suk furious, the air feels like a powder keg ready to explode. Seeing Ji-young kneeling on the ground like a wreck, both Yi-ji and Jung-suk are stunned. Who knew the heir to the strongest family could look so pathetic? Yi-ji can't watch anymore. She walks over, cigarette in mouth, looking disappointed. "Giving up already? This isn't like the idiot who fights for his friends. Does smoking make you feel better?" She blows smoke, her tone sharp. Ji-young looks up, his eyes full of confusion and self-doubt. Ji-young snaps. "Why is it okay for you to be bad, but I get isolated for being a mafia son?" He screams out all his pent-up grievance. He spirals into self-destruction. If everyone sees him as a villain, maybe he should just act like one. The urge to give up takes hold. Yi-ji stomps out her cigarette and yells to wake him up. "Stop using your identity as an excuse. If you feel wronged, stand up. Was all the training for nothing? Let them think what they want. You act like a mafia son, that's a fact." Her words are harsh, but she's forcing him to face reality. Gritting his teeth, tears mixing with sweat, Ji-young knows there's no turning back. Since he can't be an angel anymore, he has to charge forward. Suddenly, his phone vibrates. The screen flashes. Student Council President. Just as one wave settles, another rises. The trouble isn't over yet. The phone rings, and his expression hardens instantly. Dropping a quick "I have to go," he leaves his worried friends behind, urgency hanging in the air. Cut to the rooftop. Ji-young pushes open the iron door alone. The sunset casts long shadows as he steps out, heavy-hearted, awaiting a judgment. The class president is waiting, his gaze sharp as a knife. Skipping pleasantries, he drops the bomb. "Kong Ji-young, are you really a mob boss's son?" Ji-young tries to downplay it, asking if it matters. The president snaps back, furious that it ruins the school's reputation. The air crackles with confrontation. "Disappointing that a kind guy like you is actually a gangster." The words cut deep. Ji-young freezes, cold sweat trickling down, his self-image crumbling. Repressed emotions explode? Ji-young smashes his fist against the door, shaking the wall. Was my kindness fake all along? The president is unmoved, coldly twisting the knife. Then just go take over the family business and be a boss. Ji-young lowers his head, rendered speechless. Dropping a final "suit yourself," the president walks away, leaving Ji-young alone in the wind. It's not just a breakup, it's a total rejection of his way of life. Watching Ji-young leave, the president adjusts his glasses, revealing his true colors. He's not just righteous, he plans to weaponize Ji-young to clean up the school. Total shift. In a back alley, the bald bully is getting absolutely wrecked by the mob bodyguards, helpless as his screams echo through the street. The suits straighten their ties and drop a cold death threat. "Try anything funny and you're dead," before walking off, leaving the bully trembling. Collapsed on the ground, the bully's eyes are filled with terror. They know everything about him. The feeling of total control is suffocating. Fear twists into rage. He refuses to accept it. Convinced Ji-young only won because of his backup, he thinks, "I could take him in one punch." Leaning against the wall, his mind races. He needs Ji-young's weak point. Only by grabbing that vulnerability can he bring the mob prince to his knees. Got it. He pulls out his phone and dials that woman Han Soo-jin. Since she's Ji-young's childhood friend, she'll be the perfect bargaining chip. In the classroom, Soo-jin unknowingly picks up the phone and steps out. On the other end, the bully grins maliciously. "I won't go down alone." Chapter 20 begins. Soo-jin excuses herself to the bathroom, while rumors swirl around the campus. Everyone is whispering about Ji-young and the strange tension. In the hallway, students gossip. Ji-young seems isolated, and everyone guesses he's taking the fall for something alone. The atmosphere is getting weird. They corner Yi-ji, demanding the truth. The boy in the white shirt walks away, deep in thought, realizing the current Ji-young is no longer the fool he used to be. The blue-haired boy stands in the shadows, fixing a heavy stare on the figure slumped on the bench, silence hanging thick in the air. Tired of waiting, he steps up and breaks the silence, startling Song Jung-suk out of his gloomy daze. Song Jung-suk looks terrified, but before he can react, the other boy drops the one name that hurts the most: Kong Ji-young. As the blue-haired boy points out how the whole school turned on Ji-young, Jung-suk clenches his fists, screaming in pain that he was the one deceived. Do they bully him because they know he's still soft? The question hits Jung-suk like a hammer, leaving him sweating in cold realization. Under pressure, Jung-suk finally admits his cowardice. It's not his friend Ji-young he fears, but those terrifying gangster uncles. The blue-haired boy calmly validates their friendship, leaving Jung-suk wide-eyed and shaken by the stranger's unwavering trust in Ji-young. Alone now, regret swallows Jung-suk whole. He tears at his hair, screaming in frustration before resolving to apologize, no matter the cost. He returns to class only to find his desk gone, met by mocking classmates warning him to stay away from that gangster scumbag. Jung-suk tries to defend Ji-young, but his words only ignite the class's fury, their anger deafening against his plea. Facing threats and cold stares from his former peers, Jung-suk says nothing, pushing open the door to walk a lonely path. Meanwhile, two bullies from another class barge in looking for trouble, slapping a student while loudly demanding to find the gangster prince. Just as the bullies are enjoying their tirade, a tattooed man in pink glasses pops up at the door, grinning and asking for familiar faces. The murderous aura radiating from the tattooed man instantly silenced the schoolyard bullies, turning their arrogance into stuttering fear. The man in pink glasses hums a creepy tune while strolling the hall, his casual danger making onlookers realize something terrible is about to happen. Cut to the streets, where the redhead hides in an alley, sweating profusely as he warns his partner, fear practically dripping from his face. He finally spills the deadly secret: the ring Shin Jae-cheol stole isn't just jewelry. It belongs to a bona fide mob boss. The two thieves are paralyzed by panic, realizing they're trapped. Calling the cops means death, but so does silence. Gritting his teeth at their hopeless situation, the redhead can't help but worry about where that idiot Jae-cheol is with the ring. Han Soo-jin finally finds Shin Jae-cheol by the trash heaps, gasping in shock at his shaved head and brutally beaten face. The bald bully tests the waters, asking if she knew about Ji-young's mob family. She panics and denies everything. He curses internally at her uselessness, but she just apologizes, completely clueless. He spins a vicious lie, claiming Ji-young had him beaten for no reason. Soo-jin breaks down, tears streaming, heartbroken that her childhood friend turned out to be a cowardly monster. Seeing her by the lie, a twisted satisfaction fills him. He presses on, demanding to know Ji-young's weakness. Confused and shaken, Soo-jin desperately tries to recall anything that matters to Ji-young. He snaps, screaming at her to think harder. Under the pressure, a realization hits her: the only thing Ji-young truly cares about is her. Both of them freeze as the truth lands. The puzzle pieces click. A sinister grin spreads across his face as he realizes she is Ji-young's only weakness. He just found the ultimate weapon to destroy his enemy. Having secured his ace, he changes tactics. He refuses a hospital, simply asking her to walk with him to get his hat, keeping his hostage close under the guise of pity. As they walk, the air is thick with tension. Soo-jin looks at her battered ex-boyfriend and asks the fatal question: does this mean we're back together? He stops, gently patting her head. Seizing the moment, he plays the role of a reformed man, begging for a second chance. Her heart softens, and she walks right into his trap. Thinking she's found love again, she happily holds the devil's hand. She asks about his hair, and he laughs it off. This moment of warmth is nothing but the calm before a brutal storm.